Good morning and welcome to Let's Talk Autism. I'm Nancy Oswald Jackson.
And I'm Shannon Penrod. And I'm so thrilled to have my better half back.
Oh, please, better half. Your other half.
Please, better half.
I'm so glad to see you.
Glad to see you too.
Yeah, we were gone a couple of weeks, 2 weeks. We were back east in the wonderful states of Virginia and North Carolina, where I was raised, and visiting my best friend and family, cousins, and at the Outer Banks of North Carolina, which, have you ever been there?
I have.
Nags Head, where the first
but only
took
for
place,
to drive through.
Oh gosh, everybody needs to go there. It is so beautiful. It is really the most gorgeous beaches, and Wyatt swam for 6 or 7 hours a day, and I told you we had this amazing young man working with him, an OT, which I named Alex Goolsby, who was just spectacular, and had him in the ocean for 6 or 7 hours a day, and had him doing all kinds of things that just really great to have that, male influence. And I can't say enough good things about him, and it really made the vacation enjoyable.
Wonderful. Wonderful to hear that. You
look
rested.
Thank you. I found him through a woman who we're going to have on the show, who runs something called the Resource Connection in Virginia, that is sort of, I won't go so far as to say a wasteland, because they do have some services, but she helps connect families with service providers there, and we want to get her on the show so she can help more families in that area.
Because and she's got quite a story too that we'll let her tell on the show.
Quite a story of tragedy and triumph, so we'll let her tell that, but we're looking forward to having her on. So Wyatt started high school today.
And that's very exciting.
I was so nervous this morning. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. First of all, I have to pinch myself. I can't believe I have a high schooler.
That's wild.
I know.
That's wild. I watch everything, because next year Jem will start high school, and so I've watched you go through this, and it's amazing. We all learn from each other, right? But that's very exciting.
And there were moms that helped me pave the way, whose kids are already at Agora High, where he will be. And so I'll be updating everybody. Apparently his case manager is the best, and really known for her social skills program, and so I'll be updating everybody, and maybe we can have her on the show in the future too, because she's supposed to be magnificent.
I would love to do that. We've got a big show today, 2 guests. We've got Jenny Palmiato coming up in just a few minutes. She is going to talk with us about the Love and Autism Conference, which we always love to hear about. And then at the bottom of the hour, we've got Jennifer Lopata from Synergy Academics,
former neighbor of mine, who's doing a lot of great things with education.
So we can't wait to hear from both of them. And so we're going to cut in the news a little bit short. There was so much news this week, but a new study that is really being talked about a lot this morning in particular, about certain chemicals creating a risk for people prenatally, is that even a word? Being exposed to these chemicals. Now, here's the weird part about it, is that these chemicals were banned many, many years ago, but apparently we can still have exposure to them. And they're called organochlorines. And one of them is DDT, the pesticide, and then PCBs. Now, you and I were talking briefly beforehand about how would you know if you've been exposed to these, and I said, well, I know when I was a kid back east that, once a month in the summer, the DDT truck would come through and drive through your neighborhood, and it would spray this white fog everywhere. And I'm sure that our mothers got a pamphlet or something saying, kids should be kept indoors, but, it was the late 1960s and the early 70s.
Everybody
and
ran around the neighborhood.
We went outside. It was so much fun because it was summer day, and it fogged the entire neighborhood so you couldn't see in front of your face, and we would run through it, because it was fun. And so I know I had big DDT exposure. And of course, PCBs were in everything, every plastic thing
That's
that we
what I was
used.
asking you. I mean, Wyatt was adopted, and I didn't breastfeed, and he was bottle fed. And, I remember heating up those baby bottles in the microwave. And lately there's been a lot on plastics like no BCP,
BPA,
no BPA,
and
then things will say, no BCB will be written on it, but it's still, I mean, I think back, who knows what the exposure was, right?
Right.
So,
and but what's maddening about it is that these things were banned, but apparently there's still a lot of those products around that people haven't tossed. So something to be aware of. And we know we've had Dr. Berger, Dr. David Berger on the show before. And he's talked before about a study he's been doing about a protocol that if women who are about to be pregnant or are pregnant come to him, and if they've had a child with autism before, he can do a study to see what they've had exposure to and change their diet and give them some supplements to get their system as cleaned up as possible. So if you know that you're wanting to get pregnant and you know you've had exposure to these, or you want to know if you have exposure before you start, because they're saying from this study there's an 80% greater risk of autism if the mother has these things and has been exposed to them. I would encourage you to get involved with Dr. Berger. He can do telehealth with you from Florida. You don't have to go to Florida to see if you can clean your system up before getting pregnant.
Okay. What about, though, after the fact?
Well, after the fact, right? I mean, we could all cry about it, right? I could cry about it today and say, well, that's probably a part of the puzzle of why, along with genetics and all these other things, I can't go back and change that.
Right.
So I tend to, for my kid and for other kids, think about what can we do now? And we just were talking with Dr. Granpeesheh about being involved in a phenotyping study. That's something I can do. And I also think that one of the best things we can do for most of our kids at this point is to limit their exposure to these chemicals themselves and to limit their exposure to organophosphates, which we know affect our kids directly in real time now, that our kids are more likely to exhibit ADHD and ADD behaviors, which can go hand in hand with autism, a lack of being able to focus, if they have those chemicals in their body. And if we remove those chemicals, our kids tend to do better on
and
focus.
And organophosphates are contained in what?
They're pesticides. So that means getting yourself organic, getting your house organic, getting your bedding organic, even to the point of, if you can afford to, getting your mattress without all those things in it.
Afford to is a big,
right?
a big word there.
But I will say that any amount that you move that dial can be very helpful. And we know from the Environmental Working Group that there's the list comes out every year, the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. And they tell you exactly, the Clean 15 are fruits and vegetables that this year, and it's new every year because they test things that this year have less pesticides. So you don't have to buy those organic.
Okay.
You're in the clear to do those, but you look at the Dirty Dozen and you say, these are the things that if we're going to have, we have to get them organic.
Okay.
And sometimes, and you can tell when you go to the store, because here's the cry over it, is that, you're looking, let's say you're looking at the lima beans and you go, well, the lima beans, it's 10 cents more to get the organic one, so why wouldn't I? And you pay the 10 cents more. You go over to the apples and you go, well, the non-organic ones are 99 cents a pound and the organic ones are $4.99 a pound. Guess which one is on the Dirty Dozen? It's the one where the disparity between the prices is greater. Because they know they have us, and it took more to get that product to market that was organic. But sometimes, if it's for an entire season, there have been certain fruits and vegetables that we've just said, we're going to miss it this season. Because peppers is one of the big ones.
Really?
Peppers are always on the Dirty Dozen.
Wyatt eats lots of peppers. It's
right?
one of the only vegetables he likes.
And they're one of the ones that they dump the pesticides on. So that's the one you go to the farmer's market and either get it organic or go to a farmer at the farmer's market that you can trust, who says, I'm not organic, but I'm sustainable and I do not spray these with pesticide.
Okay.
And then you can buy them. Or you just say, we're just not going to do peppers this season.
Okay.
So, because they're one of the worst ones.
All right.
And that's something you can do right now.
What website has all this?
It's Environmental Working Group, so it's EW.org.
Okay.
EWG.org.
Okay.
And they list, I mean, you can go crazy on that site if you're somebody who's into this kind of thing, because they have pesticides and cleaners and things that you can go into. If you've got a kid who's got autoimmune call a friend and say, I'm going to go on the environmental working group, call me in an hour and make sure that I get off. Because
Right.
you can go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. So unfortunately, we don't have time for any more news.
Okay.
We're gonna go to break, and then via Skype we're gonna have Jenny Palmietto, and then in just a little while we're going to welcome our special guest into the studio, Jennifer Lopata from Synergy Academics. But first, Autism and Love Conference. Stick with us.
Social ID questions are just basic questions that anyone would ask you, like what's your name, what's your age, how are you, and we're teaching him, to reply. My name's Jack Riley, I'm 2 years old, and when we ask him, how are you, he's supposed to say I'm fine or I'm good, just so it's a conversation starter. I didn't probe through what he knows yet, but he might surprise me. I don't know. He always does. How old are you? 2. Oh, wow. 2 like this? Can you do it? Oh, that's a good try. Can you do the fingers? Let me try. 2. There you go. What's your name? All right, well, I guess he knows those. Hey, what's your name? Jack Riley. Yay! There's Jack Riley! Woohoo, you're so smart! You're so smart! Poof. Yay! Where's Jack Riley? Oh, there he is! Should we show Dad your cool new trick? Hey, Jack Riley, who is that? It's Susan. Yeah. Who's this? Who's this? It's Daddy. Yay! Who's this? It's those. No, who's this? Who's this? It's a baby. It's a bat. It's a dog. And my time will come. It's son. Tiger. His mom was saying he was getting so excited that he's discovering new phonetic sounds on his own, like with things that he knows, like dinosaur and pancake. Hey, what's this one? Duh. Dinosaur. Good job. What about book? Good job. How about this one? Ball. Wow, good. Book. What about this? Car. What about this one? Book. Good. Nice. What about this guy? Jack Riley, where'd you go? What's this?
It's a potato.
Yeah, so.
It's a potato.
Okay, let's go for a bike ride. There he goes. Wow. Suzanne's so impressed. Oh, you say hi. Oh. Are you all done, Jack? No, stop. Are you all done? Then you need to sit on the bike. Come sit on the bike.
Can't pretend to play.
No. Stop. Come back.
Jack Riley requests the bike but doesn't play with it. Since he is no longer being compliant with Jessica, they leave, which begins a tantrum.
Alright. Okay, then we're all done. We're all done then. Come on.
Honey, what's up? My son's auditioning for Othello right now.
It is a fight.
Jack, calm down. Okay, come here. I forget. I'm trying to be the hero.
Mike is supposed to ignore the tantrum because giving him attention may prolong the tantrum and make it worse.
So I'm
every time we asked him to do anything, he sat down. And sort of, not violent is the wrong word, but roughly, to where, you know, he almost threw his head back on cement a couple times. Where I grabbed his arms and lowered him because he was going to throw his head back. I thought, I have some tools that I use from you guys. None of them worked. The only thing I think it was more energy. You know what I mean? He's cooped up, and then there's no way I'm doing what you asked me right now. I gotta see lawn. I think he just was like, I'm not doing what you do. I'm gonna play right now. And so we tried that to where differentiate. If you go on the lawn, you can play, but you're gonna walk with me, and then you can play.
That didn't work either.
No, it did not work. It was sort of a setback in my mind. Like I hadn't seen this behavior. So I had no idea what to do.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why we're here.
I know. So not to make it dire, but yesterday to me was sort of a rough day. It was surprising to me. I know I make a lot of mistakes when I'm with him when he does stuff like that, but I know somewhere in here the tools are there. But yesterday I was like, they just all went out the window because he was just nothing was working. He was the boss yesterday. I couldn't figure it out. You do the A-word thing, and sometimes I'm set back when he does something brilliant. He is who he is, and he'll be who he'll be. But I want him to go on dates and not be necessarily the 180 IQ guy who's focused on one thing. He does things that I just go, look at Cheryl and go, oh my God, I don't think I can do that now.
Parent to parent, you might be asking yourself, how on earth can I afford ABA therapy for my child? Well, the short answer is you can't. No one can. It's really expensive and it's overwhelming to most families. But the story doesn't end there, fortunately. The first thing that I want you to think about is tapping insurance resources. So many insurance companies are paying for ABA therapy right now. So that's your first best bet. Make sure and see if your insurance company is providing benefits for ABA therapy and check back often. Now, if you see that you don't have insurance right now for ABA, don't panic, there are still other resources. The next place to go is to your local support groups and ask them what local resources there are. That's a great place to ask for information because often states and even counties have support for ABA. And then beyond that, you might consider applying for grants. There are many fabulous grants out there to help you to get support for your ABA therapy. But most important, it's absolutely essential that you get ABA services for your child. We know that that's essential for all of our children and that you won't be able to do it on your own. So seek out those services and support groups that will help you to fund your ABA journey. It's really important to remember that all behaviors happen for a reason.
Oh, he wants to watch the duck song. He'll want to do it for an hour. Okay. Okay, One time duck song, okay?
Mike warns Jack Riley that he will be allowed to watch the duck song one time only. He does this so Jack Riley can anticipate what will happen once the song finishes. Transitions are difficult for him and others with autism because they have a hard time anticipating what comes next. Because of this, they have a hard time planning ahead and being flexible. These skills are considered executive functions.
You guys have to watch this. Duck song. Oh my gosh! I gotta turn the music. I gotta turn the sound up.
And he said to the man running the stand, "Hey, bum bum bum, got any grapes?" The man said, "Look, this is getting old. I mean, lemonade's all we've ever sold. Why not give it a go?" The duck said, "How about no?"
How about no?
Then he waddled away, waddle waddle. Then he waddled away, waddle waddle waddle. Then he waddled away, waddle waddle. Till the very next day.
Why not give
it a go? Yay!
All done.
Say bye-bye, duck.
Bye-bye, duck.
Bye-bye, duck.
Bye-bye. No. Oh, no.
Bye-bye,
Don't.
duck. Later.
You know, anger's a cool thing at different times, but not right now.
Hey, we'll watch it again later. Say bye-bye, duck.
Bye-bye, duck.
Say, I'll miss you. I'm sad.
I'm sad. I'm sad.
sad.
I'm sad.
It's okay.
Learning how to transition is a life skill. Every day, one is constantly transitioning from one activity to the next, and he needs to cope with changes without tantrums and not be fixated on doing the same activity repetitively. Watching the duck song is incredibly reinforcing for him, and he needs something just as interesting to transition to.
Hey, Jack, here's Dad waddling. Waddle, waddle. Waddle away, waddle, waddle. Waddle away, waddle, waddle.
There you go.
Oh, the big old shark's gonna get you.
I'm gonna swim and get you. I'm gonna get you. Yeah, he's been really good about saying what he wants lately. March!
A taste of honey. Taste of honey. And you hug your mommy. That's kind of nice. You want your ears kissed or your nose? Ears. You want your ears kissed or your eyes? Eyes.
No.
You want your ears kissed or your chin? Chin. Where's your chin? Ears?
We are back. I was just putting my coffee down there. And we are back with a friend of mine and former neighbor, Jennifer Lapata. So good to see you.
So great to be here.
Yes, and Jennifer has an incredible background in education, and which has led her to a new venture. And I was looking at your bio, Jennifer, and you've got a lot of. You're an MSW and an LCSW. You've worked with emotionally disturbed adolescents. Tell us a little bit about your background, first of all.
Yes, I feel so fortunate to have the diversity in my background. First of all, on a personal level, I have 3 beautiful children, and I'm married for 23 years, and we learn so much from our own children as we go.
I was going to say, just that alone is such an accomplishment.
Yes, it
3
is.
kids and married 23 years.
Yes,
Where's the
especially
awards?
Those
Especially here in
evolving
LA.
relationships. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. We learn so much. Originally, my undergraduate background was at UCLA in the field of sociology.
Mm-hmm.
Got my bachelor's degree at UCLA. Felt that I had such a love of the helping profession and working with groups and different cultures and people with different challenges. So when I utilized some of that background in terms of making my decision, I moved forward into my graduate degree in social work. I got my master's in social work at USC. And then after that, actually during that process, there's a field placement both years. One, I started out at Children's Institute International. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
So that's, I did primarily case management there, and the case management was helping the families, with multiple challenges, access resources.
Right.
So that was really interesting, and I was quite a young practitioner at that time, so it was challenging but very exciting. And then I moved on to the Help Group, which is just a phenomenal organization, as you know.
Which, for those of you that don't know, we've done a lot on the Help Group here on Autism Live. Is I think the largest school for kids on the spectrum in the country, and certainly one of the most highly thought of schools.
Yes.
And
with
we've had
many different campuses.
Many
here in
different
Los
campuses
Angeles.
for many levels of functioning.
Yes.
Yes.
And so, what did you do with the Help Group?
At the help group, I was originally at my field placement, and thankfully I was hired on afterwards. I had a full caseload of learning disabled children, severely emotionally disturbed adolescents. I had developmentally disabled kids.
I imagine many with the diagnosis
Many with
of
the autism, PDD. And I really loved the school setting. I loved, which I feel has really transcended into my work with Synergy Academics and development
We're going to get into that, which is your
So
new.
let's talk about Synergy Academics.
What are you doing
What is
with
it?
that?
What? Yeah.
Okay, so Synergy Academics is an exciting launch. I had a former company about 7 or 8 years, utilized all of my skills and my areas of expertise from my former company and launched Synergy. And what we are is a comprehensive learning center where we do one-on-one tutoring in multiple subjects. We do SAT and ACT prep. We do college admissions counseling, and we also just have a wonderful study center, which is kind of more or less like a homework club, like a homework help, providing services to kids that maybe need help with time management, with organizational skills, with having the predictability of our environment to be able to come in and maybe not necessarily be as accountable to the parent and have maybe more of a neutral party to help monitor their homework completion, provide help when necessary, allowing for the independence, but also like an independent kind of group environment, but by the same token have the assistance of our proctors and trained tutors.
Which is great because oftentimes, as we know, it's a struggle with our kids with homework.
Yes.
And the parent figure can be, set up that adversarial dynamic sometimes.
Absolutely.
I mean, the child is often not as
Absolutely.
cooperative. So is Synergy, when did you launch it? It's new, isn't it? This is a new center.
Yes, it is a new center.
And is it here in Los Angeles only? Or is there
currently, the main location, kind of the anchor, is a West Hills location on Fallbrook. Between Victory and West Hills in Los Angeles. We are starting to offer remote locations where, let's say you discover that your child has a history test or something the next day. You didn't know about it.
Right.
Where do we find help? We go on, I have a mobile app now. So
great.
We go on the mobile app, which tutors are available, where can I find them, and you can kind of pay as you go.
So first of all, how can people, we're going to do this a couple of times in the interview, how do people reach you? How do they find you? What's the website?
Okay, so the website is synergyacademics.com. www.synergyacademics.com. Or certainly by phone, 818-888-8665.
Say it again, slower.
818-888-8665. We also, on our website, we can be available by email through our website. And certainly we can schedule on the website as well.
Okay, great. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and talk with you more about some of the success you guys have been having.
Yes.
And we want to talk about the fact that this is not just for individuals who are on the spectrum, which I think is great, but that you can bring a child who's on the autism spectrum and do this, and we'll talk about why that's particularly great in our opinion. But first, we're going to take a short break, and then back with more with Jennifer Lapata after these messages.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shannon Penrod from Autism Live.
And I'm Nancy Osbaugh-Jackson from Act Today.
And together we co-host Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy.
And I'd like to thank Emily Goodwin for challenging us to the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yes, we're thrilled to be able to show how the autism community supports the ALS community.
So we're going to ask some autism activists to take the challenge on as well. Dr. Doreen Granpeche, the founder of CARD and Act Today.
Matt Asner from Autism Speaks.
Lisa Ackerman from TACA.
Holly Robinson-Peete from the Holly Rod Foundation.
Ariva Martin from the Special Needs Network.
Scott Badish from the Autism Society of America.
Alex Plank from Ron Planet and activist Jesse Saperstein.
And finally, Dr. Temple Grandin. You've been challenged!
Thank God we live in Southern California.
Welcome
God
back.
for you, the dear life. That was the ice bucket challenge. It's hot here in the studio, so we're all spritzing a little bit. And we were like, we could use that right now, right? That would be fun.
But wasn't that cold? That was freezing cold.
That was freezing
I had no
cold.
Bring it on. So many people do it,
Right.
And then I had no idea what a cold shower that is.
That's pretty
but
funny.
Anyway,
I was hanging on to you for dear life.
And I bet. Anyway, we're here with Jennifer Lapata from Synergy Academics.
Yes.
Thrilled that she's here and talking with us about this amazing new service. We said before the break that this is something that isn't just for individuals who are on the autism spectrum,
learning delayed or have any diagnosis of developmental delays.
That's right.
But for all kids.
Yes.
And it can be particularly helpful. I mean, I don't know a single parent of a child who does have any sort of learning disability or developmental delay that doesn't need help with homework.
Yeah.
Right.
And it sounds like what do you call them? You don't call them your teachers. You had another word for them.
Proctors or tutors.
Proctors or tutors have some tools to help kids with that. What are some of the ways that the proctors and tutors work with kids to help them effectively manage their homework and assignments?
Okay, so in the context of the study center, or the homework club, sometimes we call it homework club, what we have found really effective and what makes it such a great offering is when the student has that sense of predictability and structure, knowing that they're coming into the study center, they will check
the physical site.
That's the physical site
of Synergy Academy.
Right.
So they can
Synergy Academics has kind of a room within the center, within the facilities, that lends itself to that, like kind of more of a group environment with individual study spaces.
Okay.
The proctors then know exactly what the student has perhaps due tomorrow or the next day versus more long-term next week. We really help to facilitate and implement better time management skills. It gives the student a sense of kind of accountability to someone other than the parent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, which takes away some of the power struggling.
Yeah.
Often students, either on the spectrum or otherwise, have, as you well know, have issues with frustration tolerance, impulsivity, or intensity in specific interests.
Well, and let's say they're smart too,
They're
and
very smart.
And they know that we have frustration and impulsivity issues, and
absolutely.
If they behave in a
otherwise,
certain way,
we all right.
It
We
falls
all have our
apart.
struggles.
How do your tutors or proctors manage to diffuse those situations? Do you know some of the techniques they use? Are there ways that they diffuse those?
I think what I feel is essential to the training of the tutors and the proctors are definitely not reinforcing an escalated behavior. Right? Staying very, very specific with, this or that, not overwhelming the student.
Right.
And Jennifer, not to interrupt you, but don't you think it's so important that just by having somebody else and a place to drive to, you're starting on a fresh slate. There is no baggage
100%.
like what we bring.
Absolutely, Shannon. Absolutely.
So they come in and they see this professional place and they see expectations, whereas when we sit at the dining room table, we bring the baggage of every time we've sat there before.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think
Absolutely
just having the place and having the environment.
It's a new environment. There's a sense of camaraderie and quite honestly socialization, which I think is important sometimes outside of the home.
Picture there.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, how nice. Look how beautiful it
Beautiful
is.
and airy. Look, beautiful. Fabulous.
Thank you.
Tell us about some of the success stories that you've had working with various children with delays and with some disabilities and autism that you've helped them succeed.
Okay, so if we have, so let me talk about one particular student because he's really salient for me. Okay, he's really, really special. All of our students are special, but there was just such an amazing success story. We had a student who recently has gone off to college. He, for most of his life, was in a special needs school setting. It happened to be primarily the help group. Loved the help group, really taught him many tools and life skills. he decided, just based on the confidence that he had developed there, that he really wanted to be in a quote-unquote mainstream environment.
Right.
So what he did was he, with that determination, went on to a full public high school.
Right.
Happened to be Calabasas. And through the help of, just consistently coming in for tutoring, I had a relationship, had a rapport with him. So we would consistently schedule, out his tutoring sessions. What days would he necessarily be in homework club? What days was he going to be on this subject, that subject? And just maintaining the set schedule. If there were days that he would come in very frustrated, he was often very hard on himself. He would say, I can't manage my time. And I would say, you know what? Maybe when you get out of school at 3 or so, instead of going home for the snack, come straight here and be early for your session. Because I see a pattern. You're getting frustrated with yourself. That was just an example of a small victory, that I felt with him. He was extremely hardworking. He was determined. He didn't want to accept anything less for himself than making it to a college of his choice. He literally made it to Chapman Film School.
How wonderful! What a good. That's a real success
it was
story.
just so great,
now
so rewarding.
you mentioned that you have an app. Is that going to be something that parents can use to work with their kids at home, as opposed to bringing them into the center, or how will the app work?
The mobile app.
The mobile app is a little bit more of a scheduling tool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can identify a proctor to help that child. So if I call you and I say I need help with something, you use the mobile app to find someone?
Okay, so if you were to call me, we could either schedule directly.
Yeah.
Certainly through our office staff or myself.
Okay.
Or once you download the app, you could see which tutors and locations were available.
Got it.
And it's directly online.
And make an appointment
on the app.
through the app to be able to come
make
in
an
and do
appointment
that.
on the app. Yes.
I gotta say, I love this because we talk about all the time what it says in IDEA about what our kids are entitled to, the free appropriate public education, and that there's other parts of it too, and it says that our kids have to have a floor of opportunity in which to succeed. And
That's
so
right.
often in our public schools, they don't know what a floor of opportunity in which to succeed is. And sometimes we as parents have to find what that floor of opportunity is. And you are giving parents a place to find a floor of opportunity. And I realize it's outside of school, but you know what, kids, if we have to do that, that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
That's
and
right.
I for one, know that I can't do it alone. I need the help.
No, it's a resource that's in place that is just so important.
Yeah. And avoids a lot of frustration, that the parent-child conflict. So
absolutely.
So
and we encourage consistency with the Synergy environment and what we're doing at home. I think that's very important.
Absolutely.
All right. So one more time, let's give them the website, the phone number, and how they can reach you, Jennifer Lapata.
Okay. So it's Synergy Academics, synergyacademics.com for the website. There is the mobile app that you would download under in the App Store under Synergy Academics.
Okay.
Certainly we can call the office at 818-888-8665. Happy to help with scheduling there as well.
Okay.
And
thrilling.
Well, for those of you
so
that
much.
if you don't have a tutor in place, if you don't have the resources, you're frustrated, you're beginning school, you feel like you need the help, we encourage you to reach out to Jennifer and Synergy Academics and to get help, because it can be daunting to do it on your own.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
thank you so much
for
coming
coming
in.
having us.
It's a
Love what
pleasure.
you're doing.
It's a pleasure. Good
Thrilling.
to see you.
All right, now we're going to take a break, and we're going to see, for those of you who were watching earlier, we promised you that we were going to have Jenny Palmietto from the Love and Autism Conference. We were having some Skype difficulties. We're going to see if we can get her back and get her consistently, because she was kind of cutting in and out. So stick with us. We're probably going to go over with today's show, but stick with us. We're going to see if we can get her on Skype. We'll be right back after these messages.
Oh, he wants to watch the duck song. He'll want to do it for an hour. Okay. Okay,
One
Turb.
time.
One time duck song, okay?
Mike warns Jack Riley that he will be allowed to watch the duck song one time only. He does this so Jack Riley can anticipate what will happen once the song finishes. Transitions are difficult for him and others with autism because they have a hard time anticipating what comes next. Because of this, they have a hard time planning ahead and being flexible. These skills are considered executive functions.
You guys have to watch this duck song. Oh my gosh! I gotta turn the music. I gotta turn the sound up.
And he said to the man, run in the stand, hey, bum, 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 got any grapes? The man said, look, this is getting old. I mean, lemonade's all we've ever sold. Why not give it a go? The duck said, how about no?
How about no?
Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle. Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle, waddle. Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle. Till the very next day.
Why not
give it a go? Yay!
All done.
Say bye-bye, duck.
Bye-bye, duck.
Bye-bye, duck.
Bye-bye. No. Oh, no.
Bye-bye, duck. Later.
You know, anger's a cool thing at different times, but not right now.
Hey, we'll watch it again later. Say bye-bye, duck.
Bye-bye, duck.
Say, I'll miss you. I'm sad.
I'm sad.
I'm sad.
It's okay.
Learning how to transition is a life skill. Every day, one is constantly transitioning from one activity to the next, and he needs to cope with changes without tantrums and not be fixated on doing the same activity repetitively. Watching the duck song is incredibly reinforcing for him, and he needs something just as interesting to transition to.
Hey, Jack, here's Dad waddling. Waddle, waddle. Waddle away, waddle, waddle. Waddle away, waddle, waddle.
There you go. Oh, the big old shark's gonna get you.
I'm gonna swim and get you. I'm gonna get you. Yeah, he's been really good about saying what he wants lately. We've really been pushing language a lot.
More shark.
More shark. Ah, more shark. Okay, ready? Ah, more shark. What should we play?
Tassel.
Tozzle. Well, tozzle's for brushing your teeth. Do you want to brush your teeth? Tozzle's this game on his iPod that he only gets when he brushes his teeth. Say, Mommy, I want tozzle.
You want tozzle?
I don't know if that means he wants to brush his teeth.
It means he wants tozzle, but sometimes we brush his teeth to get him to get it. Show me E. Show me ah. Good job. He doesn't like it when I look because he knows I'm going to take it away. I'll count you down before I take it away, okay?
Cheryl's tactic to help Jack Riley transition to the next activity is to count him down. He understands that once she reaches 1, that the preferred item will be taken away.
No lollygagging. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready? Okay. Toothbrushing. We're going to go like this. Hey, that's not how we do it. Watch Mommy. Can you do that? Do that. 1, 2, 3. Yay! Good job.
Yay, Jack Riley.
Good job.
That was pretty good.
5, 4, 3. Sit down.
Hi, buddy.
Sit down.
Brushing.
3, 2, 1. Yes, I know you know. Okay, we're gonna go bottoms. Like that, okay? Ready? You can do it. 1, 2, 3. Yay!
You did it, Jack.
Good job.
Good job, Jack.
Jack Riley, we're gonna say bye-bye to Tozzle. Are you ready? Can you give me Tozzle? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, give it to Mommy, please. Good boy. I know it's hard, isn't it? Can you march back to Mommy? March, 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 march! A taste of honey. Taste of honey. And you hug your mommy. That's kind of nice. You want your ears kissed or your nose?
Ears.
Ears. You want your ears kissed or your eyes? Eyes.
No.
You want your ears kissed or your chin? Chin. Where's your chin? Ears?
You say howdy, we say hi. Let's get rowdy, let's get wild. Let's get wild. Let's get wild. Let's get wild. Let's get wild.
Hi, it's Lisa Ackerman back for What's Left. I got a nice guest with me today.
Hi, I'm Kristen.
We're gonna make some healthy banana nut bread with no eggs. Maybe what you could do, Kristen, I'm gonna add the flour.
Okay.
If you can get the bananas ready just by mashing them for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and add our flour. Here's 1 cup of my all-purpose flour. I'm gonna go ahead and add my baking soda and my salt and my xanthan gum. A 1/2 teaspoon of the salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and xanthan gum. Xanthan gum is great, but you can also use gar gum. We can use flaxseed meal if we want to use a different binder. Remember, this is what helps keep your gluten-free flour held together. We're going to also add 1 cup of our organic cane sugar. There's a lot of variations on this as well. I can use maple syrup and honey and cook with it. That's a great way to go, but be careful, you may need to add some more flour into the mix. How are you doing, Monkey?
I think it's
perfect.
I can now say I officially mashed bananas.
You mashed the monkey bananas. So I'll go ahead and take your mashed monkey banana. Thank you very much. All we did, Kristen, lovely Vanna White, is mash up the bananas, getting ready to go for our dessert. So let's go ahead and add egg replacers. We've gotten a lot of feedback from y'all about not using eggs, and I know eggs are a big issue. So we talked about this. We're going to use a little flaxseed meal and arrowroot starch, and I love these, but whenever we use a dry ingredient, and you know an egg has a lot more moisture than these, so we want to be a little kind and maybe add a little water or more fruit or a coconut milk or something along those lines. So for this recipe, it calls for 2 eggs. So I'm actually going to use 1 teaspoon of each of these. Look at me using measuring devices. And add that into my mix, and that will be in place of any eggs that you would want in that recipe. Next up is the cinnamon and the nutmeg. This gives it the yum. Now, for kids who are really sensitive to different spices, you may want to go a little lighter on these. So for nutmeg, this calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon, so you really want to go light on the nutmeg. That's healthy, ready to go. Kristen, thanks for joining me this time.
Thank you for having me.
Love having you here. And we'll see you next time at Autism Live. What's left? If you have any questions, you can email us at autismlive@gmail.com or hit us up on Facebook, facebook.com/autismlive. And if you need more recipes while we're in between shows, go off to the TACA website, tacanow.org. Click on gluten-free, casein-free, soy-free recipes and have a ball. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
You say howdy, we say hi. Let's get rowdy, let's get wild. Let's get wild.
Welcome back.
Okay, here we are.
It's an interesting show today. Poor Samantha for her first time. So we had some problems with Skype, and but we now have Jenny both on my phone and behind us.
Jenny Palmietto.
Yes, from the Autism and Love Conference.
Right. Which, how many years, Jenny, is it now?
This is our 3rd year.
Congratulations.
So it's really exciting.
So tell us what it is for those of us that don't know.
Sure. Well, thank you guys for having me on. And boy, Jennifer Lapata's organization sounds so lovely. I learned so much, and thank you for obviously letting me chat about love and autism. So, one of the things in autism that I think that we don't always talk about is love. And people ask me all the time, when you think about love, sometimes people think of perhaps just intimate relationships, like husband and wife or girlfriend and boyfriend, but love is this thing that we all do throughout our lives. In fact, we're born attached to somebody, our mothers, and we stay attached to human beings throughout our lives. So within autism, sometimes some of the deficits in interpersonal relationships kind of cloud our dialogue about love, but love is a human need, and this need is absolutely necessary for people on the spectrum. So, I kind of describe love as like being able to be your authentic self in front of somebody else and feeling like you really belong, and somebody can hear and understand you. And so this isn't just romantic, and that's really what Love and Autism is about, is creating space to talk about how to have the highest quality relationships possible for those loving people on the spectrum and for people on the spectrum themselves.
And clearly you've touched on a nerve, because this is a very popular conference, and you get really high marks. People talk about how amazing it is, and you have this year it's happening October 8th and 9th, and tell us where it happens.
We are doing it again in San Diego at the Liberty Station Conference Center, which is really a lovely place to be. And we've got an exciting lineup this year.
Who are some of the keynote speakers and
well, I mean, you couldn't have gone through the year of 2016 and not heard the word Steve Silverman and NeuroTribes. And so we're so happy to have him join us in San Diego. I mean, we have this guy that has conceptualized the history of autism. So not just because history is important, but so that people can have a brighter future. And I think what he really does is basically create a call to action so that the world kind of stops dehumanizing autism, and that we can pull down that stigma. Because if we continue to have those stigmas and myths related to autism, there's going to be these barriers to employment. There's certainly barriers in dating, and basically just general access issues. So Steve of NeuroTribes is going to delight us with his wisdom. Last year, our #1 top-rated speaker was David Finch. It was as if we were at a comedy show, but just really critical advice and easy-to-use advice for everybody. So when he walked off the stage, I said, "You're coming back next year, and you're bringing your wife." And so he and Kristen Finch will present together on 3 aspects of making a relationship work. And this is, again, not just applicable to those that are married. And we have, greats like Barry Prezant, who wrote a phenomenal book, Uniquely Human, this year. If you haven't read that, that's a must-read for everybody that's treating in our field. He is just the humanistic and respectful therapist, and the way he situates autism is just so respectful, and I'm really excited to learn from him. We've got this exciting thing this year. Shushu Scantlin is a woman who is 62, identifies on the autism spectrum, was diagnosed in early childhood, and she is going to be doing a unique, her own cabaret show called Blissfully Being, and it's her story of love, happiness, acceptance, and being on the spectrum. And it's called Blissfully Being, a Life of an Atypical Valentine. And I just think it's going to be delightful. I don't know if the world is ready for how much fun it's going to be. So we have tons of people that are coming. John and Karen of In a Different Key, who truly detail how parents have been phenomenal advocates and blaze down doors for their loved ones and continue to need to do so. And then we've got some newbies like Daniel Wendler and Kirsten Lynn Smith. And of course, I know you guys are connected to Alex Plank. He'll be back talking about loving his single life. And I think that's so important to figure out, how to navigate the dating world, but and when you're single, enjoy it. And so he'll be sharing his wisdoms there.
And Alex,
so I know it's going to be a great concert.
Alex just was, I haven't seen it yet, but he and I were talking about it the other night. He was just featured on a reality show where he was dating. Okay. He was on a date, and it was on a reality show, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, TLC. You have to watch it.
Yeah.
And you know why it was so phenomenal, and TLC did a fabulous job. They, in Alex's story, they talked about autism about 7 times, and they let all of it come from him, and it was really well done, and it really positioned what many of us know about people on the autism spectrum, that these are human beings that want the same thing as everybody else, to find the one.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's an incredible lineup. Where do people go to get tickets for this conference?
So you can buy tickets at our website, loveandautism.com. If you don't have internet access, you can certainly, or if you prefer to just do it over the phone, you can call our number at 619-600-0683. And we've lowered the price this year. We've included lunches. We're really trying to make this a conference that is accessible to all. We still have all the funding options that we've had in the past with regional centers covering the full thing. And we've added a ton more breakout sessions with a lot of parent-to-parent information. So in a number of different topics like MNRI and RPM, and certainly we'll be doing a ton of RDI stuff, but really just humanistic and respectful ways of thinking and being with those on the spectrum.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And I got to say, this is an incredible lineup, but I have somebody for you for next year. The other night, when Alex Plank and I were together, we were together because we went to a comedy show.
Yes.
Asperger's Are Us.
They are on my list.
Okay, good, because they were amazing.
My wish list for 2017,
Okay.
and they are ranking in the top 2 positions. Yeah, no, I heard that show was amazing.
It was
an
amazing.
incredible thing.
Yep, it was thrilling.
Okay, well, we wish you the best of luck, Jenny, and it sounds like it's just going to be a really empowering day for everybody. So
2 days,
the 8th
and 9th of October, and say the website one more time.
Loveandautism.com.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for rescheduling with us and fighting through so we could get you, so we could hear you and see you. We just think you're wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you
Pleasure.
so
Take
much,
care, guys.
Jenny.
All right,
All right,
thank
take
you.
care. Bye-bye.
And we are out of time, my friend.
We're over time.
Yeah,
We're 10
we're way
minutes
out of
over.
time. We're 10
But
minutes
it was
over.
worth it.
Yes, it was, for sure.
It was.
Yeah.
But I want to remind everybody, we are doing a live show tomorrow. And tomorrow, we've got 2 women who are on the show from New Mexico who are making a change in autism in New Mexico forever by training both teachers in the classroom and training the future BCBAs, and we're really excited about having them on the show. And then in the second hour, well, first of all, we filmed an interview pre-taped yesterday with the people from Picasso Einstein that teaches parents. Oh, I'm calling other people. It teaches parents how to help our kids to be entrepreneurs. I want to say entrepreneurship. I can't even say that. Entrepreneurs. So that's thrilling. They're from Picasso Einstein. And then Joanne Lara is going to be here. And not only are we going to be talking about autism and Autism Works Now, but she's got a new initiative to get more of our young adults registered to vote, and she's going to be talking about why that's more important than ever. So Joanne Lara is going to be, and Joanne Lara always expands my brain. My goodness, that woman is amazing.
She's a dynamo.
So that's tomorrow. Really, really exciting. Make sure that you guys are here with us. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me.
And yourselves a hug from me. Bye-bye for now.
All right, bye-bye.